And Real Madrid with 3 points, 3 important points in LaLiga's title race, 4-1 over the other informed side in LaLiga in 2026. This is how things are looking as it stands right now. Real Madrid sit on top of the table, but they have played a game more than Barcelona. Barcelona will be playing against Girona on Monday, but as it stands right now, they are keeping that pressure on Hansi Flick's men. We welcome in Luis Garcia to talk more about this game, and no Mbappe today, but no problem, Luis.
Yeah, definitely. And I thought from the very beginning that seeing the lineup with the players who haven't been sharp in front of goal, who haven't been clinical, I thought they were going to have more problems, but they did an amazing job the first 45 minutes. Even though the stats doesn't show the dominance and control of Real Madrid, that they were with a low block when they needed, very open when they needed. And when they arrived to the box, I think that is true. The Aramburu in a couple of occasions, it's been a little bit sloppy with those two penalties. Real Madrid really deserved it. It was in the second half with Real Sociedad got two options to get maybe into the game, but that penalty fall goal of Vinicius Junior kind of put the game away. Then it became a quite open game, but definitely Real Madrid knew how to control. Also Arbeloa with an eye on the midweek game in Champions League where they are going to play against Benfica with rotation, giving minutes to other players, even bringing young players from the academy to show his support to a team that he's been working with quite a few times. So overall, a fantastic game for Real Madrid, 3 points and top of the table.
Let's talk about then Gonzalo Garcia, because he's in, Mbappe's not, and he's playing in a position that he's much more used to and much more effective in LA.
Well, it's a natural position for him, which is as a center forward. That's where he does his best work. And let me just take you back to January, early January, January 7th to be exact, against Betis. Real Madrid against Betis. Betis sort of best of the rest in La Liga. When you look at the table, you're thinking Betis is a team that can maybe be difficult to play against. That game ended 5-1. It was Gonzalo Garcia playing through the middle. You're getting movement from the center forward position that is natural movement, that is not away from goal, that it is in and around the 18-yard box. And it's coming from a player who does this naturally, instinctively. When you play him out on the right-hand side because you want to play Mbappe down the middle, you're wasting Gonzalo Garcia. And look, I'm not suggesting that Gonzalo Garcia is an elite striker right now at this point in his career. But I think there's something to be said about the fact that you have a player that will occupy the two center backs because of his movement in and around the 18-yard box, and that his movement alone creates spaces for others. The holder play, and just as important, the pressure on the ball. That he's going to go and chase around things that Kylian Mbappe doesn't do and things that Vini Jr. he doesn't do either. Real Madrid, and I know the sample size is very small, they're better off when they're playing with a guy who's willing to press the ball down the middle, and then the second line of pressure comes knowing full well that the possession from the other team has already been affected and has already been determined in terms of what side they're going to try to play out of. That allows then Camavinga to step in, allows Tchouaméni to come and step in. They look a far more solid team defensively when Gonzalo Garcia is playing through the middle as a striker. Now, think about that for a second. Digest that. That they look better defensively when you have a forward playing down the middle who naturally wants to play in that position and who's willing to chase the ball. So they have a point of reference in the attack, and they have a point of reference in terms of starting the pressure. Again, sample size is small, but against Betis and against Real Sociedad, two of the toughest teams in La Liga, 5-1, 4-1.
So what do you do? What do you do here, Stevie, if you're the coach? Because they're both very effective. We know all about Mbappe, but Gonzalo Garcia here, we've seen it. That's a small sample size, but the proof is in the pudding. What does Alvaro Arbeloa do in this situation?
Well, there's nothing to be done. Really.
I'll tell you what he's going to do. Mbappe, as soon as he can, is on the field.
Yeah.
It's a situation that there's no choice. You can't leave Mbappe out, and you're not going to stick Mbappe in that wide right position. And Vinny wants to be on the left. I mean, unfortunately for Garcia, he's just going to have to put up with getting a game whenever Mbappe needs a rest or isn't fit. It's really that straightforward.
Is that what's best for Garcia, though, to be playing when Mbappe needs a rest or isn't fit?
No, the best thing for Garcia
in a position that's better for him.
Down the middle, centre forward, where he should be, where he needs to be, playing game in, game out. He will start. Ali's talking about he's not an elite player yet. But from the small sample, the size that we've given, or he's given us in the last 6 months, 8 months, there's no reason why he can't get there. But he's not getting there anytime soon if he stays at Real Madrid, because he's not playing. It's unfortunately the way it is at Real Madrid that he's going to be sitting on his backside.
It really isn't a question of Mbappe or Gonzalo Garcia. That's not the point of discussion. It's always going to be Kylian Mbappe. The point to be made is that this team, we think about how dependent they are on the productivity of Kylian Mbappe, and there's no denying that Kylian Mbappe is scoring a bunch of goals for this team. But there's also something to be said about the structure of this team, which is something that we have discussed time and time again, that they lack organization, that they lack structure. They look better structured without Kylian Mbappe on the field, and I would go as far as to say without Jude Bellingham on the field. The challenge for Álvaro Arbeloa, or whoever the manager may be for Real Madrid, is how do you find the same structure that you found today and that you found against Betis earlier on this year with guys like Kylian Mbappe and Jude Bellingham, because they're going to be on the field. That's a challenge. It's not going to be a challenging decision to tell Gonzalo Garcia,
oh, absolutely not.
Sorry, buddy. You got to come and sit on the bench.
But then what's best for him is when he's playing in a position that's better for him. So to Stevie's point, is it that he looks elsewhere or he just keeps staying? And
well, eventually right now, he's young enough, he's inexperienced enough that right now he's happy to be at Real Madrid.
Yeah.
He's happy to be able to get a start. He's happy to be able to come on. But that lasts for a certain period of time. And it differs. It just depends on the mentality of the player. But Vinny ain't going anywhere soon. Mbappe's not going anywhere soon. So Garcia, in order to raise his game, is going to have to start thinking about how long he stays at Real Madrid.
He's doing what he needs to be doing.
Right now.
When he's given opportunities, he's saying, I'm here, you can trust me, I can do the job. And that's not only a message for Arbeloa, it's a message for his teammates as well. That if Kylian is not available or Vini is not available, I'm still here. And I can do the job. And that generates respect, appreciation within the locker room, and it generates the same thing with the manager and with the fan base as well. He has done the job that he has been asked to do. I don't think you could ask for more from Gonzalo Garcia.
Hopefully we can see the best of Vinicius Junior consistently every single week in and week out.
well, now comes Benfica, and we know what we saw last time they faced each other. It's a very quick return to facing them again in this Champions League playoff. Can they do the same again? Can they keep up some of this consistency and be more convincing in their display?
Well, isn't that the question that everybody wants an answer if you're a Real Madrid fan? I watched Vini Jr. play today, and Stevie and I were having the conversation while watching the match. Is it a coincidence that when Kylian Mbappe is sitting on the bench, Vini is thriving? I don't think it is a coincidence. I think, and you saw it today in some of the facial expressions from Vini as well. Happy he's getting the ball. Happy he's running out of Amburo. Happy that he's creating opportunities, that he's being taken down for penalty. Happy to get the ball and be the one that takes the penalties as well. You don't see that. Again, you don't see that when Kylian Mbappe is on the field. There's a different feeling to Vini's game and to Vini's personality when Kylian Mbappe is on the field. And it all feels like I'm pointing the finger at Kylian Mbappe, but it's just when you observe the behavior of players and you observe the behavior of the team, you kind of go, whoa, they seem, at least in this game, from this evidence, they seem to be better with that guy over there rather than on the field because he's playing better, because there's more structure, because there's more balance. And it's a crazy argument to make, and it's one that I'm not ready to make just yet. But if you have any doubts as to what his fitness level is going into this Champions League match against Benfica, then if you're Arbeloa, you have in your back pocket what you saw today from your team. And you have to trust that would be good enough to get a result against Benfica.
You got to say, if Arbeloa turned around and did what Alonso was doing with Mbappe, Arbeloa would be out the door as well. So you've got to deal with not only the players in the area, he goes, the guy upstairs, he's really picking the team.
Final word goes to you, Luis.
Not much to say. I think I agree 100% with the guys. I think that you can see there is a totally different Vini Junior. He feels happy. Today was skillful. He was moving. He was combining. I saw passing the ball so much. He was getting linked with other players. That's something that when we've seen in other places, I feel like when he's on the field with Kylian Mbappe, he needs to pass every single time the ball to Kylian Mbappe because he's the top scorer. So when he's not there, he can be more himself, playing, flying around on the left side, doing mistakes because you're always going to do mistakes without feeling the pressure that you haven't passed the ball to Kylian Mbappe. So all good news for Real Madrid, definitely all good news for Arbeloa. Having Gonzalo Garcia in top form in this kind of moments is also good, even though he's not going to be in. But when he is, he's performing well and delivering. So very good news for Arbeloa that no one knows, no one knew that he was going to have this kind of performances so far.
Yes, and Real Madrid will be La Liga leader tonight and tomorrow, at least ahead of Barcelona playing their game on Monday against Girona. That puts a bit more pressure on them. That match will be available on ESPN 2 on Monday. Before that, we have a whole slate of action for you, including Rayo against Atleti tomorrow morning.